I do not believe that the community shouldn't have a relationship with the business community. Okay, I don't believe we shouldn't. I believe we should. You are part of the community, and you are part of the solution. Our primary responsibility is, though, to the voting public. That's where our responsibility is, primary number one. Okay, businesses function within a town based on the criteria and the law of that town, and you work together accordingly at that point. Okay.
What we're trying to do.
All I'm suggesting, has nothing to do with being in favor of business or being against business. All I'm saying is there's a bylaw in place. It was instituted, what, 7 years ago or so? I attended that meeting, and I stood up at that meeting, and I specifically stated that the sidewalks, the bylaw should include clearing of the sidewalks by residents. And I stood up on that, okay? And the Board of Selectmen at that meeting was not interested in that, and nor was anybody else within the audience. But I felt that that was the fair thing to do. But as far as businesses are concerned, there's a bylaw in place. We have a tool, and we should use the tool. It's not a question of being pro-business or anti-business. It's a question of enforcing a law. We have a tool, and we should use that tool. That's all. And should we refine it? Should we improve upon it? No doubt. Okay? But I'm working with what we have now, and enforce what we have now, and go forward from there, not go backwards. I don't think you need a whole year or a whole new winter to figure out what to do that you had 7 years to do.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Delaney, and then I think I'd like to wrap this up.
Get us to the end point, I don't know. Mr. Yu, what's your response to a business owner that turns to us and says, well, I know you want us to do it, and we're trying our best effort to do it, but town of North Reading is not doing it in their property to allow the residents of the community to get around Town Hall, walk in here, walk on Main Street.
First of
all the businesses,
there's no sidewalk there.
all the businesses, if all the businesses on 28 shoveled all their sidewalks, cleared them down to the pavement, and we as a town don't clear our town-owned land, what's your response?
My answer is that we do it. We have to, if that's the next step, that's what we have to do.
We have
I know we have, but don't have the business, don't have anybody. You can't do everything at one time. You just can't do everything at one time. It's a process.
And I think that's exactly
right.
the point.
Okay.
You can't get it all done at once, and I think this needs to be a collaborative effort that's going to take until next winter to fully implement. It's not going to happen overnight. I think we made progress, and I think progress will continue to be made, but businesses as well as the town need to do a better job. And it's not going to happen overnight. I can't sit here and tell the businesses, you got to clear it down to the bare pavement, but we're not doing our job.
The bylaw says that that's what has to happen. That's all it is.
Mr. O'Leary.
It is a quandary, and I think, you know, what we've done this year is a good thing, but I think it was hastily thrust upon the community without advance warning and notice, and the bylaw's been on the books for a number of years, and it wasn't enforced. You know, so that's not the fault of the business owner or whoever's supposed to be responsible for the bylaw to adhere to it. We didn't. We passed it, and even that first year after we passed it, we didn't enforce it. I don't recall, probably as I've said here, any reaction from any business owner or commercial property owner complaining about it because we didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the community leaders here had shirked their responsibility in adhering and enforcing the bylaw over a period of time. And what we've done is we've asked those property owners who are subject to the bylaw to adhere to it without any advance warning. It is not necessarily their responsibility to understand what all the rules, regulations, everything they're subject to, and know them all. What they are is they're constantly reminded through enforcement actions, mailings, dialogue, communication, which hasn't occurred. And again, as far as the enforcement of it and the effects, the positive effects of it, there's been some positive effects, no doubt about it. The consciousness level of the issue has been raised significantly. And I would like to believe, and I do believe, that the business owners that are now adhering to it will continue to do so for the remainder of the season. But my concern again is, if you look at Route 28 specifically, there are other areas we need to talk about, but you've got at least 5 different condo associations that are residential properties on Route 28, where most of the pedestrian traffic, or a lot of the pedestrian traffic is gonna come from to get to the business community, are not forced to clear the sidewalks, and I don't know of one that does. You know, the Greenbrier doesn't clear the sidewalk in front of their, you know, their frontage. Park Colony doesn't clear the frontage in front of it. I mean, the two major big ones, and there's one in corner of Kingston Street.
They do.
Which has and has not at different times.
Right.
Has and has not. It was at first, and it isn't now, and now it's going back again. The one across the street next to Dunkin' Donuts, they don't do it. And then the ones further up at the corner of Burroughs Road, between Burroughs and Volk Street, do not. You know, so we've got mixed enforcement because the bylaw doesn't require them to do it. So I think we need to tweak the bylaw, and if we're going to have any particular parcel of land that's in a commercial zone area, if that's what we're concerned about, first and foremost, then we need to make everybody subject to it, because anybody who's in that zone can have a business there if they so choose. If they choose to make it a residence, so be it. But that's for down the road. So I think we've gotten our message out loud and clear. I think it's been heard. I think it's had a very positive effect. I'm not overly concerned about the $50 fines and collecting it at this point in time right now. I agree with you, though, that come next season, you know, at least this is going to be in effect. And my guess is we will be proposing some sort of modifications to that bylaw to make it a little bit better. As far as the town not doing their fair share and meeting their responsibilities, shame on us. We should be. And from what it sounds like, based upon what the DPW director and former chairman and town administrator, we don't have enough personnel in order to meet our minimum obligations to adhere to our own bylaws. So that means it's gonna cost us more money to do it. And we should not be excused from it, and we should enforce it and lead by example. So if we have to hire an additional contractor to assist us so that we can meet our obligations, then you step up to the plate and you do it, and you budget for it. And it's gonna have to be at the expense of something else, but those are our bylaws. We should be adhering to them. So I mean, we have a little bit of soul searching to do ourselves. I don't find the explanation that we can't get to it till 2 days later to be acceptable, because the prioritization has already been established through our bylaws as to what we're supposed to do and when we're supposed to do it. So, meet it. If it costs us more to do it, we created the monster. So either you fix it, you adhere to it, you change it, but right now, we should be subject to the same responsibilities as the other commercial property owners. So, I'm hearing everything you say, and I think you have some very cogent arguments. I really do. But by the same token, I don't think we've been fair in the timely communication of what our enforcement actions were going to be. It took place after we had a storm. Say, okay, now we're doing it. You know what? And I was a small business owner. I ran a small business, and yeah, I budget things, and I tried to budget as best we could, you know, for snow removal and all the rest. And a lot of these small businesses do contract out. It does cost them more money. And the contractors that they're contracting with also have other obligations and a time frame to get it done. And the contractors they have may not be able to meet the additional requirements in order to get it done on a timely basis. So I think we should allow them the opportunity to properly budget for it and meet their obligations in whatever fashion. Now, should the town be getting into the snow plowing business? I'm a little skeptical about that unless we implement some sort of a betterment for the properties where we're going to be doing that, which is going to be an interesting process if that's what we're going to do, but that's the only way you're going to be fair about it. I mean, the obligation becomes the town's in order to do it in a timely fashion. That's for another night. So
Thank you.
That's for another night. But I mean, the town's biting off an awful lot here now that we hadn't necessarily anticipated. And by the same token, I think we need to be fair to the property owners. I think adequate notice has been given. I think we should send a message tonight that, you know, if we are going to consider throttling back on the enforcement of the bylaw, it should be, you know, with a word of caution. implement it full force, and we anticipate and expect the businesses to adhere to it voluntarily now, going forward for the rest of the season.
I would suggest also that in the process, if we do decide to waive the fees, and by the way, I support doing that, I'd like the police office to continue to send a notice to those that have not cleared their facilities, and perhaps word the notice such that fine, even though they've read that we've waived the fines will go in place effective on October 1st of 2010. I'm hoping it isn't going to snow in September.
Or for the remainder of the year, for that matter.
Well, that would be great, for a different reason.
Yes, yes, yes.
There's somebody raising their hand. I'm sorry, yeah.
I do have something to add, again, I'm Monica Gregoire, I do reside at Greenbrier Drive.
Yes.
And so this is an issue that we have taken up with our board, so we're trying to be part of the solution. This is a community-wide issue. I think it's great to have the business community involved in this conversation. The last meeting, the reestablishment of the sidewalk commission was briefly touched on. Again, that's something that is important because businesses are a part of it. Of course, you being the legislative body is part of it, but also those of us that are pedestrians should be part of the discussion as well, and we can help to come up with solutions that will be good for everyone. So in terms of rewording the bylaw, some of us should be part of that as well. I myself, I'm actually received my master's degree in urban planning, so I have been taking a lot of classes in this, so I've been reading a lot of casework in terms of this. So in terms of wording, I volunteer myself for that if again, this issue is allowed to be addressed by the pedestrians as well as the business and yourself as well. So again, the sidewalk commission is something that should be reestablished, and you did mention the ad hoc committee. Again, we should have citizens involved in that, not just yourself and the business community.
That is a good suggestion.
Could I ask the lady a
Mr.
question?
Dan.
Has Greenbrier decided to start cleaning their sidewalk, do you know?
We're working on that.
So the answer is
So
no.
it's a work in
So,
progress.
okay, all right. No, I just, so they're not yet. Okay, I was just curious.
Have you gotten a price as to what it would cost to have it maintained? Most of it? I'm just curious.
That again is something that I've taken up. We have had a recent change in our portfolio manager, so I've been in constant contact with him in regards to that. So that's something that they're supposed to be looking into. So again, this is like you are a work in progress.
Yeah, okay.
Your part, your work in progress is ours. But it would be great to have the whole community involved in that. Because granted, when you have people driving in through our community, we want our sidewalks are basically and they show the beginning of our property. We want our sidewalks to not only look good, but when we're walking them, we want them to be safe too. So that's something that we do need to keep in mind. And understandably, it does cost a lot of money to maintain the sidewalks, but it's something that's worthwhile. And on a side note, I'm a little concerned about actually giving back fines. You've actually started enforcing the bylaw. It's a vital tool, and that's something that I'm a little worried that you might go a little backwards when you've just started the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know how much we've collected?
No.
I have $500 at this point.
Personal fine you paid yourself?
It was a
You've
donation.
been collecting it for us?
No, we received the report last time, and I went through it, and there were the fines written, and we had $500 in fines. There were 2 fines that were rescinded because I think they immediately removed the snow, and then there were others for summonses and so on. I didn't bring that report with me, but so it was about $500. And of course, the question is, what did it cost for the police to do this? I don't know if they came up with a number saying it really cost us this much money to
Well,
do
I
that.
hope
And
they
I
weren't
don't know,
doing it on overtime.
but